Sometimes it happens that animal encounters with an unexpected ending do not look cruel at all, but rather cute. In general, otters should not be underestimated. They are pretty cool guys, especially if they attack in a pack. But this orangutan should not have been underestimated. At first, he retreats. The peaceful monkey does not want to fight. But when he realizes that the otters are not calming down, this primate picks up a stick. Orangutans not only belong to one of the most intelligent primates that can use tools, but also have strength. "Get away from me, you impudence!" The monkey doesn't seem particularly angry. Rather, she is annoyed by the audacity of the otters. In general, an orangutan is such a cute, retired Special Forces soldier. Yeah, he has already grown a small belly, looks lazy, and is always polite to his neighbors. But if you make him angry, he will immediately remember the past and break the legs of someone who allows himself too much. Like this. At first, the orangutan treats the monkey's pranks with patience and understanding. But when she abuses these advantages, the larger beast remembers that it can literally swat the insolent. But still, this story is much more touching and amazing. These loggers are destroying an ancient rainforest. Maybe for the sake of increasing the area or the territory for crops, maybe for the sake of mining. It doesn't matter. But what really matters is the feelings of the inhabitants of the ancient thicket. Yes, these animals have feelings too. Like the hero of a blockbuster on an environmental theme, the most ordinary lone orangutan stands against a huge bulldozer. The colossal size, relative to the primate, of a car with a metal bucket and a noisy engine should have caused an orangutan to have a real panic attack and drive him away from here. But this monkey is too smart for that. She shows everyone, you messed with the wrong lady. This resident of the jungle is not so easy to intimidate, and the orangutan goes out to fight against the bulldozer. Without hope or possibility of victory, just because that's her position. Yes, my friend, this red monkey has a public position formulated more clearly than most of those you see in your own hometown. But if you have experience fighting for wildlife conservation and eco-activism, then share it into the comments below this video. We would really love to hear your story. At the same time, the orangutan got as close as possible to the bucket to fight with him, like a knight with a terrible dragon. Although the primate cannot destroy metal, its very presence on this branch does not allow the builders to move on. Therefore, in a sense, the animal won. Well, or at least something that made you think about what is happening in the distant forests and jungles. The courage of this monkey motivates and inspires to join this fight, does it not? No, we are not calling to attack construction equipment, but you must admit, wildlife deserves to take care of it and protect its mysteries and unexplored corners from destruction. It seems that even the builders who worked in this place also felt the grief of the orangutan for the destroyed thicket, which was his home. It remains to be hoped that this brave animal is now alive, healthy, and has found a new home. At least, neither the bulldozer driver nor the other people did any harm to the primate. Interestingly enough, when an orangutan went out to fight against the bulldozer, he thought that he was facing a huge monster that was uprooting his forest. Or did the animal understand the role of man in this terrible destruction of the jungle and was just trying to show the bipeds that they would not be able to destroy everything here just like that? We can only guess. What do you think? When the mare realized that the stallion did not understand and did not accept rejection, she decided on a more explicit way to show that she did not like him. Namely, with the help of a knockout blow directly to the head. The stallion simply turned off from the impact of powerful hooves on the skull. While now, perhaps, he will behave more like a gentleman with women. The relationship between badgers and foxes is an example of an amazing interspecies friendship. Usually, but not this time. Two animals entered the territory of human habitation with the explicit purpose of finding something tasty. Well, the badger clearly understands he's not as cute as the fox, and there are not enough treats for everyone. So, we'll have to show the redhead that we'll have to leave. Of course, it turned out to be brutal, but in fact, the fox simply underestimated the power of the badger. Their grip will surprise many. Remember in the film Guardians, there was a cool moment. The prisoners approached the arrested superhero to settle old scores. It all ended with an epic phrase. "It wasn't me who was locked up with you, and it's you who are locked up with me." It wasn't me who was locked up with you. And it's you who locked up with me! Well, these hyena-like dogs made the same mistake as the bandits in the movie. They underestimated the enemy and decided that he was trapped. In fact, the gazelle that you see now is one of the few artiodactyls that are distinguished by a very determined character and a love of fighting. Perhaps these dogs thought that the gazelle had gone to the depths because of panic trying to escape. In fact, the ungulate lured predators to a place where they would have neither the opportunity to surround nor the advantage of a flat surface. And when the horned creature realized that the dog was carried away and believed in his victory, he turned into a crushing counterattack. The gazelle literally trampled the predator and almost drowned him. An object lesson for fellow humans who understood the essence of the situation in time and did not dare to pursue a higher animal at depth. The behavior of this gang of makakis does not cause any involvement. They really fancy themselves too strong and invulnerable to smaller otters. It seems that primates treat otters like toys. They shake the kids from side to side, sometimes even bang their heads on the rocks. Why would an animal that doesn't try to hunt do that? Out of curiosity or because of a violent nature? To be honest, it is extremely difficult to perceive all kinds of animals equally objectively and with equal sympathy, and it's not because some animals seem more beautiful. It's just that the habits of certain species are really associated with meanness and cruelty. Whereas surprisingly other animals behave nobly, at least by our human standards. Or do you think that it is unacceptable and irrational to evaluate the behavior of animals from the point of view of human views on ethics? Or vice versa, do you believe that animals can also be guided by good intentions, which means that there are also villains among them? Answer in the comments. Maybe you are equally more for hyenas and lions. If you are outraged by the behavior of these vile makakis, then now you will see that they underestimated their enemy. Maybe one otter is weaker than a primate, but altogether they represent a formidable force. Otters caught a makaki and threw it into the water, and then surrounded from all sides. From the sides, from below, from above, their sharp teeth were constantly wounded, bitten, looking for a gap in the defense. The makaki tries to fight back, but the otters in the water are too strong. It is much more convenient for them to act there. And the otters fight too harmoniously to be resisted. Although the makaki is trying to fight off a relative, he has no chance. The otters have dealt with the enemy and have shown that contacting them is the biggest mistake a monkey can make. Do you see a shark? Ah, there she is. An invisible predator that plows the waters of the ocean, like her ancestors millions of years before. Are you scared? She knows you're scared. But this sea lion is not the enemy on whose fear you can count. This mammal is not just not afraid of the shark, it attacks first and literally bites the huge fish, throwing it out of the water. For a sea lion, this shark, with all its size and powerful jaws, is just a hearty lunch. When a bully does not get rebuffed for a long time, he may believe in his own strength too much. This dog really thinks he can scare a bull weighing almost a ton. This ungulate endured the stupidity of the opponent for a while, but then decided to teach it a lesson. And it did it in the most convincing way. With a kick that threw the dogs away and slammed it into the door jamb. Now the little impudent dog will think several times on whom it is possible and on whom it is not possible to bark and rush. Archimedes said, "Give me a fulcrum and I will move the earth." It is not known whether the bull of the work studied the biography of an ancient physicist, but the concept of Archimedes was embodied 100% here. During the enemy's attack, the bull went into defense, found a foothold, and took a crushing blow from the enemy with such fortitude that the bull literally did a somersault in the air and landed on his back. He himself is shocked by the acrobatic trick that he has just performed. But it must be admitted, he does not take stubbornness. The bull jumped up and continued the duel. Apparently, they didn't share something important. This is one of the most impressive scenes of a tiger facing an Asian buffalo, captured on camera. The striped predator surpasses even the lion both in size and sheer physical power, and its honed skills, incredible reflexes, and agility enable it to hunt buffaloes weighing around a ton alone. The tiger managed to unexpectedly attack the herd, induce panic, and then, in a powerful leap, bring down an adult and strong buffalo. The force of such a pounce could break the neck of a smaller animal, but the buffalo stood its ground. The striped predator didn't give up. It was prepared for an exhausting struggle. Its fangs closed on the buffalo's trachea and gradually constricted it. The hoofed animal tried to break free, but the tiger was too strong. However, the predator was unprepared for the turn of events. The tiger underestimated the buffalo, just like the entire herd. They managed to overcome the initial fear and to regain composure before the tiger could strangle the buffalo. They attacked the tiger and managed to fend off their comrade from the predator at the very last moment. The tiger's in shock. It didn't really expect such a fierce resistance and is now forced to flee from the entire herd. Though bison looks quite different from ordinary bulls, they are actually close relatives. They belong to the same subfamily, which also includes yaks, gars, canna antelopes, and several others. Moreover, both bulls and bison share a similar lifestyle. Both species are herding, strong, and stand out among other hoofed animals with their fierceness and bold character. The main enemy of the American bison in its natural environment is the wolf. The beginning of the wolf's attack on bison resembles the first stage of lions hunting African buffaloes. The predator's goal is to make the hoofed animals flinch and start panicked fleeing. All herbivores are naturally quite skittish, but bulls, bions, and their relatives are much braver than, for example, zebras or antelopes. Making them panic is challenging. Predators have to stealthily approach the herd to make a sudden attack at the right moment, desperately exposing themselves from under the cover of vegetation. When bison see the sudden appearance of a large number of enemies, the hoofed animals are bewildered for sure, because they really don't know how exactly where the wolves are, how many of them there are, and what if a gray predator is behind the nearby bush? What if there was a whole army of them over here? The initial fright turns into panic, and the entire herd of bison runs in one direction, exposing flanks and rear. Only in such a situation can wolves begin pursuing the weakest individuals. The sick, the old, the young, and helpless, those who fall behind, that is. If bisons didn't succumb to panic, they would form a defensive formation where the strongest individuals stand side by side and don't allow predators to come too close. The weakest ones stay behind them in safety. Such care is worthy of respect, don't you agree? But the continuation of the wolves' hunt for the bison herd differs from the tactics of cats. Wolves rely not on a lightning-fast attack and quick success, but on winning through a long chase. They can chase a bison for many miles, thanks to incredible endurance. And when the animal is exhausted, only then do they surround it for the final attack. It's just that they underestimated the endurance of this bison. It turns out it can resist a whole pack of wolves, even being by itself. During the defense, the bison will strike the wolves with its horns. Although the bison's horns are quite short, thanks to the powerful neck muscles, if the bison can deliver at least one precise blow, it will drive the wolf into the ground up to the neck. No wonder the predators scatter in different directions. They did not suspect their prey had such a reserve of strength. Perhaps the wolves already regretted not choosing a younger and less experienced individual. In general, bisons can surprise not only wolves. Due to their very massive shoulders and large heads, their bodies seem too powerful to be elegant. Well, bison is indeed incredibly strong, but at the same time it possesses unexpected agility. There is evidence that these giants, whose weight can reach just under a ton, can jump over an obstacle about 6 to 7 feet, up to 2 meters. With minimal running, and they can run for hours in deep snow, swim in icy water, and easily maneuver between trees when the herd passes through dense forest. Especially impressive are the clashes between bison and the sole predator that can defeat an adult individual alone, the bear. Grizzlies are probably the most dangerous carnivores in North America. They reach a weight of 1/3 of a ton, roughly equivalent to 4 adult men. A short tail and a very thick layer of fat, along with dense fur, create the image of a slightly clumsy and slow beast. In reality, at short distances, a grizzly is only slightly slower than a horse. But the main thing is its combat qualities. Because the bear can stand on its hind legs for quite a long time, it possesses hand-to-hand combat skills. Each strike of a grizzly's front paw can break a deer's spine. In just 1 minute, a bear can deliver several dozen such crushing blows, all at different angles and from different sides. Additionally, the paws are armed with huge curved claws that easily strip bark from century-old oaks. Often, a bear grabs its prey with these powerful paws, lunges at it with its full weight, and then seizes it with its jaws. After such a grip, only a few manage to escape. The bison is one of those few. Just look at how fiercely it defends itself and against the bear. It seems that the predator's devastating paw strikes make no impression on the hoofed animal at all. This is not entirely accurate. The bison is indeed too robust and massive for the bear to inflict critical damage with a single strike. However, the hoofed animal feels the claws of the predator, but it doesn't panic or blindly retreat. The bison fights back, and now the bear begins to understand that it made a mistake in choosing its prey. The bison rams the bear several times, uses its short but sharp horns, and attempts to trample the bear. In such duels, herbivores don't always come out victorious. However, the bison has the highest chance of defeating the bear compared to any other inhabitant of North America. Moreover, the bison can fight for a very long time and resist the predator until it gets tired. This way, the hoofed animal will preserve its life. And if there are several bison, the main thing for them is not to succumb to the initial shock of the appearance of the huge predator. If the animals can resist together, then the bear's chances of winning drop to absolute zero. A herd of bison can trample such a predator like a grizzly. The fighting skills of bison are honed in battles with each other. This is typical for horned herbivores, to fight among themselves during the mating season or for the position of a leader in the herd. Not only bulls do this, but also deer, as well as many antelopes. Generally, horned herbivores use their weapons against their own kind much more often than against predators, upon spotting which most will try to escape. But judging by the behavior of the bison, these intraspecific conflicts are like training for a battle with carnivorous aggressors. After all, although bison can be prone to panic, they often put up fierce resistance to predators. And during battles between males, they gain the necessary experience. Moreover, their duels look impressive. Notice how the two powerful beasts weighing almost a ton each almost simultaneously rush forward for a head-on attack. It seems that a shockwave, like an explosion, will follow their collision. Bison raise whole clouds of dust, maneuver, jab, and ram each other with incredible determination. But at the same time, such duels rarely lead to serious injuries for the opponents. Even when one bison loses, the other finds enough restraint to stop in time and not finish off the defeated opponent. Perhaps the reason lies in the cold-bloodedness of the animals. Or maybe it's because the strength of bison lies in the collective defense of the entire herd, so they avoid unnecessary injuries. Yesterday's rivals will stand side by side against a whole pack of wolves tomorrow. So the hoofed animals need to be confident in the strength of their comrades. What are your thoughts on this? Why do stallions, during duels for leadership in a herd of wild horses, often fatally deprive the losers of life, while bulls and bison do not? Share your opinion in the comments. We're interested to know what you think. In the wild, the habitats of bison and rhinoceroses do not overlap. Bison are found in North America. A small population of their very close relative, the European bison, has survived in Eastern Europe, in the territories of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. Rhinoceroses live in Africa, and several scarce subspecies inhabit Asia. So the encounter, made possible only through human efforts, caused a real shock to these herbivores. They don't know what kind of animal it is, and remain perplexed. Well, here it becomes clear that bison have much better nerves than rhinoceroses. The enormous armored beast decided to test its neighbors and went for a direct attack. Not a single bison flinched. A couple of short movements in response, and the rhinoceros runs away in panic. It seems to be going hysterical. The bison couldn't be intimidated, and the armored but vulnerable giant decided that a swift retreat would be the best move.